Jim Ake.
Present.
Larry Carino.
Here.
You do have a quorum.
All right, thank you. The first item, action item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. I'd entertain a motion.
I will second.
All right. We
I
have a
will
motion.
second. Okay, there we go. The mic's on now.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes as stated. I have a second by Larry Carino. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes stand approved as stated. Going into contracts and agreements, action item number 2. The MOB, we're going to table that for the next meeting, and we'll bring that back. So make note of that on the agenda, and we'll move that forward to the next meeting. Action item number 3, Westfield Police Headquarters Project easy for some people to say, Memorandum of Recommendations. Who's presenting?
I'm going to.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and for the record, it's Jeremy Lawler with the city. This is a little different than many of our projects or our agreements because of a couple reasons. So just to take you back a little further, the new police headquarters building is going to go either CMC, so construction manager as constructor, or the BOT process. We are leaning heavily toward the build, operate, transfer, construction methodology. So we sent out an RFP for those services. These are professional services. It is a qualification-based selection process, meaning it's not a low bid situation. We had 8 respondents, interviewed 5, and ultimately the group selected the Skinder Garmong team to be the developer and construction manager for that project. So all we're asking for today is your approval to move forward with them. There is a 0 cost associated with the pre-construction phase of this. There will be a contract that comes back later. Part of the BOT methodology delivers a guaranteed maximum price. It happens later in the design phase. We are nearing the end of schematic design. There will be an estimate done at that time, and then sometime between there and when we enter construction documentation phase, there will be a contract that comes back to this board that shows the GMP of that total project, as well as any fees that would be associated with what Skinder Garmong are doing. But until that time, there is no fee associated with the project. So we're just asking for you to accept our recommendation so that we can continue on with the project.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Nope.
I'd entertain a motion to approve action item number 3, Westfield Police Headquarters Project Memorandum of Recommendation, Skinder Garmong Developer Team.
I will make that motion.
And I will second. All those in favor of approving action item number 3 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action item number 4, Citizens Wastewater of Westfield LLC and City of Westfield Utility Easement Agreement.
Yeah, so I'll present this one. This is related to our new fire station out on Ditch Road. Let me pull up the document itself, and I'm going to direct your attention to the GIS because it'll be a little easier to explain with some visuals. So as you're aware, new fire station 81 on the east side of Ditch Road on this parcel here. I'll even turn on the parcel layer. Parceled out here. Fire station sits on this property. The sanitary sewer main that services that building runs along the southern border and down the Osborne Park parcel, connecting into the sanitary sewer on 169th Street. Citizens Energy Group, as the owner of the utility, requires us to dedicate an easement over that sanitary sewer main extension so that they can access it, maintain it, clean it, whatever it needs to be done in the future. It's part of their standard process. All this is doing is approving the or the Public Works Department to dedicate that easement that Citizens requires for that sanitary sewer for the fire station. Happy to take any questions you may have.
Would you state your name for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry, John Nail, Director of Public Works, City of
Well,
Westfield.
thank you. Okay, you have any questions, Larry?
It doesn't interfere at all with driveways or any of the paved area, it's all,
No, we worked all that out with Citizens in the design process. We also kind of worked through the design to make sure that we weren't hamstringing any future development on Osborne Park as it's a city-owned property. Originally, that sewer line was actually kind of bisecting that property, which wasn't ideal. So worked with Citizens, worked with the designer to get that adjusted. We're very content with the easement location and the sanitary sewer line.
okay.
Is there any, I guess we're just granting that easement without any monetary compensation.
Correct.
Is there a reason for that?
Citizens requires us to do so.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
part of the deal. When you extend a sanitary sewer main, when you build it, you got to put an easement over the top of it so they can maintain it and access it in the future.
All right, very good, thank you. Any other questions?
Nope.
I'd entertain a motion. I'll make the motion to approve action item number 4, Citizens Wastewater Westfield LLC and City of Westfield Utility Easement Agreement.
I will second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving action item number 4 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Action item number 5, Studio Access and City of Westfield, Architect, Design, and Engineering New Station 84. Is that
Certainly.
Jeremy?
Yep. For the record, Jeremy again. The, similar to the police project, we have begun the new Fire Station 84 project with an RFP for architectural engineering design services. In the same fashion that we selected our other consultant, we are recommending that we hire Studio Access to be our design team. You also have the contract on this. This one is does have a fee associated with it. Let me scroll down a little bit here. The amount of the cost for total design is is it that one? $459,650. Actually, it's not quite right. Stand by, I've got to correct that. So there were some additional services in that. Or actually, we reduced services. I can't see that at all. There we go. So as you can see in Article 11, compensation for the entire scope of services, $413,650. That is for the Studio Access and their consultants to design the Station 84, get us to a point of construction.
Any questions?
Yeah, I'm a little confused here. The Studio Access, the original quote was $459,650. Okay, that's the total of all this, correct?
So Ken Alexander is our owner's rep on this project. He's helped us with the process, so I'll let him speak to the cost.
Yeah, Ken Alexander, GKA Services. So when we submit RFPs, you'll get additional services that are sometimes requested, and they're enumerated. As part of the scoping out process with the design team, we cut some of those items. So when we first put out the memorandum that you saw before, if you could switch back to that, that had more scope than what we need. And so as part of my due diligence with the design team is I sat down with them and reduced the scope so that we could still deliver the fire station, and it's come in cheaper with those understandings. And so the breakdown now, instead of $459,650, you will see is $413,650, and that's broken down into those categories. So like for benefit's sake, there's things such as commissioning, which is the services of looking at your mechanical and electrical systems, making sure that they are all running sufficiently. But there was also sustainability design, things of that nature that we've removed in some capacities from the project. We've kept, if you go down to 11.2, we've kept additional design services contingency of 28.5, which is still under that $459,000, but that was to allow us the opportunity to add those back in as those needs are realized.
I'm still confused. What's it cost us? Your quote was $459,650.
Design services aren't a bid perspective. It's a proposed service and fee that's usually based on hours. So the $413,650 is the cost to the city of Westfield.
That is the total contract amount.
Okay, so where it's that 163,800 construction documents is part of that 413?
Correct.
Okay.
You add up those items, that totals up to the stipulated sum.
This is an itemization, so a sum
Okay,
total of these,
all right.
it's $413,650.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken. Entertain a motion.
I will make the motion to approve.
Thank you. I'll second. All those in favor of approving action item number 5 signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item 5 is approved.
Do we have a location for that, by the way? Or does it matter?
We do. At 191st Street and just west of 31, we own a piece of property right there, that square. So it's going to land there. We have yet to determine whether or not we need a small sliver on the south end of that property or not, but we're going to try to fit it there. It's going to go there. Whether or not we have land acquisition associated with the project or not is yet to be seen. But
Okay.
that's the location.
Thanks.
All right. Action item number 6, Panhandle Eastern Pipeline Company and City of Westfield, 161st Street and Oak Roundabout. Letter of no objection. Michael.
Yep, Michael Pierce, City Engineer, City of Westfield. So this letter is in relation to our 161st and Oak Roundabout project. So if you look on the GIS it'd be the northeast corner. We have as part of our design for our roundabout, we have a drainage pipe that will outlet from the roundabout and tie into an existing structure that exists on the north side of 161st Street that was installed prior to this project. Part of why this letter exists is because that pipe will have to cross over an existing Panhandle pipeline that runs through there. Typically, Panhandle would require 36 inches of clearance between the top of their pipe and the bottom of our drainage pipe, just due to the existing grades and the design of the roundabout. That wasn't able to be achieved with our design. We're at currently 21 inches rather than 36 inches. We did work with, our consultant did work with Panhandle throughout the design of our project to get them to agree to the design. We did make some accommodations at their request, such as replacing concrete pipe with HDPE pipe, which was per their standards. So there was some discussion there. There were some accommodations made. They agreed to it. They were fine with it. This letter is essentially our agreement with them to, and their agreement with us to cross their facilities with that reduced clearance under the stipulations that are involved in here. Did run this through our legal team to make sure that they had no exceptions to the language in there. And so at this point, we'd be just seeking approval to sign this agreement to move forward with the pipe installation for the roundabout, which is currently under construction. So it's kind of a schedule critical item to get everything moving so that they can stay on schedule as much as possible with our project. So I know our legal team's also on if there are questions about this at all, and happy to field any other questions about that.
All right, thank you, Michael. Larry?
After
Any
a
comments?
a fairly long phone call with Michael, you made me feel better about some questions I had with them. And I'll be honest, some personal actions with Panhandle in the past with, as an HOA member. They do have an attitude. But, you know, talking with Michael and with the legal department, I'm comfortable with it.
Very good. And I as well. I think it needs to be something that needs to be approved. So I would make the motion to approve action item number 6, Panhandle Eastern Pipeline, letter of no objection. Can I get a second?
I guess I will second it.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of action item number 6, as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that and keeping the project
And
on
I
target.
do also want to thank you, Michael.
Sure, no problem.
Change orders, action item number 7, 2023 striping project, change order number 1.
Yep, so again, Michael Pierce, Public Works. So this is a change order to our annual striping project. So in June of 2023, we did enter into a contract with Indiana Sign and Barricade to do our annual striping project. That original contract amount was $108,705. After that original contract was executed, we realized that there was an additional need to do more striping in the city, basically because we did not have a program last year, and so we're lacking a little bit in our striping. So I contacted ISB to see if they would honor their prices to do additional work throughout the city. They agreed to those terms, and so we had the additional budget to reallocate basically to our striping project. So this change order is basically to add in those quantities for those streets to do additional striping within the city to try to keep everything as fresh as possible. So this is a change order of $76,364. That would come out of our MVH fund, which we have sufficient funds to fund it. So this would be asking for approval of this change order.
This work will be done this fall?
Yes, correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Very good. I'll second. All those in favor of approving action item number 7, change order, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action item number 8, Westfield Police Headquarters Project, Veritas Group, proposal letter.
Yeah, thank you. This is Jeremy. I'll take this one as well. We have elected, as a part of that overall process, we've elected to hire an owner's rep for the duration of the construction project to be our advocate, given the size and scope of the project. The team that was selected is Veritas Group. Veritas also helped us with the RFP process that we discussed earlier, but we've expanded their scope of services to assist the police department as they move through construction. The total value of that amount of services is $397.20 with an allowance for $10,000 worth of reimbursable expenses. On your agenda, you will see a second document. John already opened it. This is the e-verification, non-appropriation, non-discrimination language that is required by statute for all of our contracts. It was not included in this, and we did not get it updated and included in time. So the final contract will be inclusive of this required language, but otherwise it would not change. And with that, I would answer any questions that I can.
I have no questions.
I have none.
I'll make a motion to approve action item number 8, and with the condition that the added language on the qualifications are included. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of the action item number 8 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Action item number 9, impact. I don't understand what this means, but anyway. Parks Department, single-sided 17 by 10 mobile LED trailer. And I don't understand insane impact.
Insane Impact is just the manufacturer.
Okay.
They're just the company that makes it. For the record, Chris
Because
McConnell.
I don't want to do anything that's insane.
Hey, well, I don't want you doing anything insane either.
Well, thank you for clarifying that.
Chris
We're already
McConnell,
here.
We're already, yes, we're already. All right, thank you.
Park Superintendent for the record. This is, just as the quote says, this is a 10 by 17 LED mobile video trailer. It allows us to expand our offering of video type events within our parks, movies in the park. It allows us to do it in the daytime. We'd also be able to use it at Grand Park for Colts Camp. It just offers us a lot more flexibility in what we do and what we can offer to the general public. It also offers us an opportunity to generate some revenue because there is a rental market for these things, and some of the other municipalities have already shown interest if we were to purchase it, renting it back from us at a fee, obviously.
Okay, so this can actually serve as a projection.
That's what it is.
It is a
It's a
projection.
giant, basically a giant TV on a trailer that can be hoisted. It has a jack on it so it can be hoisted up to 20 feet off the ground. It can spin 360 degrees. It has a speaker system. It has a computer associated with it so you can stream live movies. You can plug a video camera into it and you can live stream. It pretty much offers anything you want to do right there in one unit.
High def?
I don't know if it's high def or not.
This one's 4K.
Yeah. So there's your answer.
Yes,
It is.
it
It
is.
is high def.
Okay, all right, very good. We'll
And it
get
would-
good use out of this.
And it would be purchased through Park Impact Fee dollars.
Okay. Any questions?
I do. Did we get other quotes from competitors?
This is actually done through the federal government's General Services Administration, so it's a pre-qualified bid structure, so you don't have to go to bid legally for it.
So we didn't get quotes from anybody else?
No, because it's through the federal government, it's like a source well. It's already, all the bidding is pre-done.
That process certifies that this is the lowest price we can get, essentially.
Okay.
And to add to that, Larry, we do cooperative purchasing quite often for things like this that are pretty specialized through several different platforms. It meets all of our bidding requirements and makes these guys.
Okay. A few questions. You know, I like the concept of having this, you know, the piece, but you're talking about 150 grand. It's a 8,000 pound trailer. Where are we going to keep it when we're not using it?
We would store it in a barn, obviously.
Okay, we'll be stored
It'll be
indoors.
stored inside and
Okay.
yes, taken care of appropriately. Obviously, at this cost, we don't want it just sitting outside in the yard somewhere. That's not responsible.
And another question I have is staffing and operations. That, we didn't get anything on, staffing. The proposal includes training, but to operate a board like this, which is essentially a scoreboard, if you will, to do like live feeds at the Colts game and all that, you're talking about a crew of a minimum of 3 and probably 5 people. A couple of cameras, a director, a couple of assistant producers. I know this stuff, okay? How are we going to pay for that?
I don't know to the extent if we'll ever use it for live feed situations. My only comment in that is it's capable of doing that.
Yep.
We'll
Yeah,
mostly use it for broadcast situations where we're doing movies in the parks, those types of things. And I know from experience, because we rented this for one of these things for our last movie in the park, it was operated by one gentleman.
Right, for that application,
Yes.
it just, you know,
Yes.
only takes one person. But any live feeds, it's a.
And that's
fairly
not, Larry,
good
that's
size.
understandable. And obviously, we would have to, as we move down the capabilities of this thing and learning about it, we'd have to address those things as we got to that point.
Have we looked into what kind of rental fees we can get?
To rent this from Insane Impact, if I remember right, it's $4,500 a day.
Yes, you do remember right, I looked it up.
Yeah,
So,
so it's not cheap to rent per day, so there is that rental possibility to other municipalities of somewhere from $2,000 to $4,500 a day if we were to rent it to another municipality.
and so we would be renting at market rate, competitive rate?
Yes, absolutely competitive rate.
Okay, how big is the actual, and I couldn't find this on either their website or off the document here, how big are the actual panels? Are they 17 by 10, is that correct?
The entire unit is 17 feet by 10 feet, and it's
Yeah.
made up of, if I remember correctly, 12 by 12 panels. So it's all paneled together to make
Right,
one
yeah.
big screen. Yeah,
So the display is gonna be 17 by 10 is?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the anticipated maintenance?
That we don't know quite yet.
Do you have an idea on expansion?
Life expectancy?
Life
I do, unfortunately, I do not.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
And this comes out of impact budgets, is that correct?
Yeah, it comes out of the park
Or,
impact fee equipment
park
budget.
budget.
And just to point out, and Jeremy, thank you for bringing this to my attention, there's 11-year parts and a 5-year on-site LED warranty, and then a 3-year warranty on their trailer and generator as well.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I'd make a motion to approve action item number 9.
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving action number 9, Insane Impacts Trailer, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving into the consent agenda, we have vehicle disposal and approval to hire officers Bradley Robinson, Nicholas Miller, and Casey, I don't know how to pronounce that, Joel, Thiefel, and September bond information. Do you have any comments, Chief?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I always do like to at least give you a little information on each candidate. Casey Thiefel, she is originally from, actually, these are all out of the same process, our last process that we had. She was a police officer in Westerville, Ohio, which is a suburb of Columbus. She spent almost 2 years there and wanted to relocate to this area. Her husband he already got a job in Sheridan as a school resource officer, so she followed him and was able to get a job with us upon your approval. Bradley Robbins is actually a police officer and has been for 7 years at Tipton. So he's a lateral also. He Ball State grad, K-9 officer, defensive tactics, and taser instructor. So he's a sergeant there. And the third was Nicholas Miller. And I don't have to, Nicholas actually is one of our firefighters already. So, sorry, Rob.
Are we
But,
eating our young, or what are we doing here?
He's Nicholas is he's going to be a loss for Rob, and Rob understands. Nick has always had a passion to be a police officer. He's already an Army helicopter pilot, and he's been with the fire department since 2015. And he's done an absolutely wonderful job for them. But you know, he's always had a passion for this and wanted to transfer over to us, and we open our arms fully to him. But he's married and has a 2-year-old son, and he actually lives in Sheridan right now. So Nick Miller and Bradley would be hired on your approval in October, and then Casey would be hired in November.
Thank you. I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Oh, I don't know, I think we should have the two chiefs arm wrestle over
Yeah,
this
I'm
one.
gonna say,
So, and I'll second that.
all right. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as stated, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Yeah, well, that's true. I need to clarify that, don't I? Yes.
Can't wait to see the minutes on this one.
All right, thank you. All right, are you up to the challenge, Chief? All right, there you go, that's fair. All right, moving on to department reports, that concludes the items, the action items. And we'd love to hear from Rob Gaylor, Fire Chief.
Good afternoon, Rob Gaylor, Westfield Fire Department. I do have one thing that is not in my August fire report, but we're kind of under a time crunch. So if you go back and remember to December 19th of 2021, we were involved in a motor vehicle collision involving one of our ambulances. We've gone through the process with the insurance company and everything, and have received the unit back from, they actually totaled the chassis, remounted the box. We have the unit. Our insurance company has paid us the monies for that, but now we need to pay, not necessarily the manufacturer, but the folks that we bought or purchased the unit from. Just kind of one of those government exchange pieces and how that works, and we're kind of under a time crunch to get title and registration and some things like that to get the unit in service. So with that being said, we've received all of the funds. On September the 25th, we received $60,000, a little over $60,000 from the insurance claim that came in and was deposited into an account. And then on the 13th of September of this year, we received another $125,000. So the total cost for the unit is $178,000. I think that's $339. We've got $186,000 in funds that we've received. We're putting in a special request or permission from you guys that it's okay for the clerk's office to make that happen. We've got the money in the funds. It was here. It's for that. But we're just seeking a blessing from Board of Public Works and a public platform so we can make sure that we can have that.
You need a separate vote on that? I would think so. Or a vote?
Legal, Jewel?
Yeah. So
How should
I
we-
do have a couple questions, Chief.
Yes, sir.
On that, if I could. So are you saying that you have money in your budget that is appropriated for this, that can cover those fees, and you're looking for the approval going on, or is this a situation where we need to take those insurance funds, transfer it over to the proper line item, and then pay for them?
So we do not have the funds in our budget to pay for this, so we're not necessarily requesting an additional appropriations. Those funds have actually come into the city and were placed in a line that is technically out of the purview of the fire department. I'm requesting to spend those funds out of those lines for the services, the insurance monies that we've received. Is that accurate, Marla? I'm going to ask Clerk Treasurer's Office to step up.
So we haven't receipted the revenues just yet, but they're pending Chief Gaylor's approval. They have enough money overall in the entire fire budget that we want to cover it in order to expediently pay for the repair of the ambulance, because we had a nice chat yesterday, and my understanding it has to be registered and plated to be in service by October 15th. But because the council won't be meeting until the 9th, it kind of puts everybody under the gun in order to get it done. We're asking for permission to pay for it and make the necessary adjustments and transfers as they happen, or bring in a additional appropriation if we have to in the end, just to get it ratified in as far as what we did, but we wanted to bring it before a public body to say we are aware there's an issue that we're trying to fix quickly for everybody, and certainly for the fire department.
So then there are funds within the fire department's budget that will cover this, and then we will make those whole once you receipt the insurance check, and then we would probably have to just go into the general at that point and then do a transfer over later through the council.
You've got it, yes.
Yeah, yes. If that's the, so long as we have the money in those accounts that are in the fire department's account and control, then I think we can do it this way. And then move forward that way. I mean, it sounds like the clerk treasurer's office and the fire department are on board and of how this will work, and I agree that you can go through that process. Now, I know, was there going to be a question from the board regarding this?
I have no questions, but
Other than, are we sure, having dealt with insurance companies, are we sure we're going to get the checks?
We have the checks. It's an approval
Sorry.
process that I
it's already
have
been
Ah,
processed.
okay,
to-
okay, so we have the funds.
We have the funds.
Okay.
So Jewel, what do we need to do?
I think it would be a motion to approve the fire department
Okay,
to pay for the repairs on the ambulance out of their existing budget. And then in the background, once the clerk treasurer's office receipts it and then goes through the process for the next council meeting, they'll put it on there to transfer it over to the fire department to make them whole.
Exactly what we were asking, thank you.
I would make that motion, whatever it is.
all right, so I will second Larry's motion. All those in favor of approving that motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So you have our permission to do that, and then it'll come before council. All right,
So
now we've handled that.
Now we got
What else
that-
is going on
got that out
over
of the
there?
way.
You don't have much to do you, Rob?
No, there's nothing going on. As a matter of fact, Mr. McConnell and I were having a conversation earlier. He was leaving his residence last night to go to a meeting and was passing some emergency vehicles going on north and south and east and west and just everywhere. Last night was a busy night for the guys and gals in the organization. So we had some lightning come through, and that always sparks a bunch of
It's quite a storm.
Lightning,
things.
sparks, things.
Literally,
Yes.
literally sometimes. So in front of you, you have the August 2023 Fire Department report. Sound like a broken record. I'm not going to bore you by reading you numbers, but I do want to hit a couple highlights. Right now today, I ran some data sets right before the meeting, and we're actually ahead of call volume wise where we were last year, but we're like exactly the same spot. We're like 1% over where we were last year. So in the grand scheme of things, I'd much rather have a 1 to 3% steady kind of increase and handle on that than the 10 to 20% that we've experienced in the past couple of years. But with that being said, we do have a whole nother quarter that we have to work our way through, and you never know. Again, my opportunity to brag about the men and women of the organization. For the month of August, we averaged over 13 runs a day. Average response time was a minute and 12, and that is from the time the bells go off till we go en route, as far as turnout time. And I had a total of 896 apparatus responses, meaning that approximately 900 times last month, our folks were out on emergency event in the city. And then our inspector. So Inspector Fuller runs around, works in the Fire Marshal's division with Chief Flora, those of you that know Mark and Ryan. Last month, Mark had inspected 130 businesses. So in a 30-day time period, he's out visiting folks in the community and did 130 inspections. So just kind of talking about the men and women in the organization, the workload that they're doing, and doing great things. This is a monthly comparison from August of '22 to August of '23, so you can see that we're like right there. Very similar runs to speak of, and again, I'm not going to bore you with all of these things, but by and large, 65, almost 66% of our calls are dealing with medical, and the rest of them are fire, hazardous materials, or things like that. So with this report, I'm not going to read it line by line and go through it, but would be happy and willing to answer any questions that you folks may have.
Just as always, you're doing a spectacular job for the city, and we want that conveyed to your employees and firefighters out there and the staff that supports them.
We'll do that. Thank you. Larry, you're thinking.
What service calls? What does that mean?
So service calls are occasionally we will get called. There's a resident that goes on vacation and there's a water leak in the house,
okay.
and we go shut the water off. Typical service call. The ducks in a drain, the kitten in the tree, things like that, we list as service calls.
Cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Rob. We heard from Joel, but we're happy to hear from you again from the police side of things.
Yeah, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't at least say a few words about the building project. Jeremy covered a couple of items there, but for us, this is a big deal. Probably, well, if not the biggest project we've ever done, but yeah, as a city, it might end up being one of the biggest projects the city's ever done. We put together a team of stakeholders from, representing each division within our department: investigation, special services, patrol, evidence, property. Just a nice blend of people that touch every piece of our current building, going forward to where we can really think through what the building looks like internally, how work flows, that sort of thing. And we're really closing in on the end of schematic design, which is exciting because we're starting to see what a building looks like. And we're looking really forward to being able to share that not only with this group, but the whole community. And I'm hoping to be able to do that here real soon. As I said, it's really exciting moving forward. It'll do a lot for our department. To me, it's an opportunity to brand ourselves. It's going to be a symbol of excellence, in my opinion, and it will push its way through everything that we do. So we're looking really forward to it. A couple other things that we're doing. On Monday, as you all know, we are a nationally accredited organization. So every 4 years, we have assessors come out and assess how we're doing, basically. So they'll come on Monday, spend Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday with us, and kind of get into the weeds with how we operate, look at our processes and look at our policies and make sure that we're doing everything the right way. So that's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So we're looking forward to that. Really looking forward just to being done with that, but it's important. Kirsten and Ben, who were going through FTO, are now solo car. So in a really quick amount of time, they went from field training to a solo car. It was about 8 weeks, which is really, really fast. Adrian is still out. He was a little greener than those two, so it's just going to take him a few more weeks, but he's on track and he's doing a really good job too. So with that being said, unless you have any questions for me, that's about all I have today.
Have you guys nailed the new location for the new building yet?
Yeah, we're looking at that lot on, Jonathan's going to bring it up, but on Grand Park Boulevard, just south of 186, on the west side of the road, right across from the Grand Park Village lake, as you will. So to our west will be apartments. Right there.
Is
It's
that
a-
city
a-
property or,
No, it's currently owned by the Wheelers.
okay.
It's a 10-acre plot.
That gives you room for expansion in the future.
It does. We're looking at right now, about 50,000 square foot with the ability within 20 years to build out another 30,000.
Okay. Very good. I don't have any other questions, just, you force does a great job. Very proud of all your officers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Public Works.
Yeah, so as you probably have noticed, the 161st and Oak roundabout construction is underway. We have that intersection closed right now. That will remain closed into November. We had a 60-day closure under the contract for the roundabout. Obviously, with the item that you had in front of you today, we've had some additional coordination with Panhandle Pipeline Company, making sure that they're squared away on their needs under that intersection as well. So that project has moved forward quite well so far. A little bit of rain today may have slowed them down a bit, but happy with the progress thus far on that project. State Road 32, you've certainly seen some of the demolition on the south side of 32. You'll see a little bit more around the green building, the 102 South Union, the old Erica's building. There'll be some demo of some areas that are not getting relocated, mainly the back area that they used to call the chicken room. That's a small area to the east side. That'll get demoed. That'll open it up to allow for our structure relocation contractor to get some of their supports in there. Additionally, there's a little annex space between Jan's Pizza Kitchen and the Erica's building that will get demoed as well, again, to give some space for our contractor to get their supports in there to relocate. The building's going to go to the east and sit on the old BMO Harris site temporarily, so that gives us time to backfill the basement and relocate overhead utilities underground. That'll clear the way then for that building to move north on Union to its final location, which will be due west of us right now and south of the Westfield Playhouse. There's a parcel that the city owns, and I guess now that I've got the GIS open, I might as well show you guys as well. So the building I'm talking about that's getting relocated, the old Erica's building's right here. What's called the chicken room is this little section here. There's an annex between Jan's and that building. Basically, anything under this gable roof is going to get relocated north. So we're going to move it east. All this overhead electric and overhead communication lines will get buried underground to their final locations. Then our contract will move it up Union. And the final location will be on this parcel here. Westfield Playhouse is just on the north side of Hickory Alley. This is City Hall that we're in right now. So this parcel will be the final location of that building. And then we'll do some renovation work and restoration work to kind of get it back to its historical nature as well. So excited about that. It's not every day you get to move a building. Certainly it's the first one that I've been a part of here in Westfield. So we're excited to get going on that. Overall, project's moving along well. As always, we're trying to prod utilities to get relocated as fast as possible so that we can clear the way for construction on that project. The last thing I'll mention is that our resurfacing, 2023 resurfacing has been completed. Really happy with the contractor on that project. I think Michael may jump in, but I think we had very few resident complaints on this one. It's obviously a little bit inconvenient when you do resurfacing in neighborhoods. You got to move cars off the street and so forth, but I think the vast majority have been very happy with the results there.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Baumgartner was really good to work with. We actually reconstructed all of 166th Street from Ditch Road all the way to Little Eagle. That was complete reconstruction from subbase up. Got that done in about 6 weeks with access maintained, all the homes throughout construction. Nothing outside of normal complaints with construction, so we really did that really well. I think we ended up getting about right around 8 miles resurfaced this year with our project. So, and most of you probably driven through. We got the roundabout resurfaced at 156 in Spring Mill, which got some positive reviews back on that. So that was good to get done. So.
Good. Thanks.
And that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Jumping into, about the 161st Street roundabout, and this is probably more for Joel. Obviously, we use that intersection at 171st and Oak a lot. Boy, there are a lot of cars running that stop sign, especially the one on the east side of 171st, right there. I almost got clipped twice last week. So that's something that we may want to keep an eye on. Thank you.
Yeah, and in coordination with that, with Chief Rush, we can take a look and maybe add some of the red spinners on top of that stop sign to help draw some attention to the stop sign itself. My guess is that I'll give the public the benefit of the doubt here. My guess is this is maybe a new route for some people who have always just used 161st Street. They may just not be aware of the stop sign. So anything we can do to draw some attention to that would be helpful as well. But police presence always gets people's attention as well.
I will say the Public Works guys, they always stop. So.
Yeah, they better for sure.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? At this time, that concludes our agenda and the department reports. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
And I will second. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We stand adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.